I have been holding this back for a while, and I didn't want to do this. Well, that's not entirely true. I do look great on camera. I'm avoiding names. I'm avoiding specifically naming individuals. You know who you are. Do not make me provide receipts. I know where the trash can is that's got your DNA. And it stinks. And by stinks, I don't mean of manipulation and control. I mean, it literally stinks. For a long time, I thought that those of us fighting the media industrial complex were all on the same team. But it turns out what I've learned, those in charge are in bed with big tech. And by in bed, I mean they're literally sleeping there. Well, they're sleeping, but you're not. You know why? Because you have to do everything they need. You should know better than to put together these exploitative contracts. And I don't have to sign this because I'm huge, but I want to let you know about this so you don't sign this and instead you come sign with me. And then that way you can babysit for me and I'll finally get some sleep. And that's what Stop Big Yawn is all about. So number one, you have to feed them whenever they want. Whenever they want, wherever they want. Secondly, you got to clean the bathroom. You got to clean the bathroom. And by bathroom, I mean they wear it. They're going to cut me 10% if I get booted off of any of these platforms for trying to do this work that they're hiring me to do. If I do a feeding live on my podcast and I violate the community guidelines because there's no nudity allowed, then they're going to cut my pay by 10%, which is hard to do because they pay you nothing already. That's what's in this contract. No money. This is worse than when I was in TV news. They own your hair, which you're never going to have a chance to do anyway. And they want to own your merch, which is constantly covered in spit. They own your social media, like I have a social life, right? And that's what Stop Big Yawn is all about. It's about stopping these ridiculous demands in the middle of the night that leave you completely sleep deprived and yawning all day long. They act like they're for the little guy. Oh, you should love me. I'm so cute. They wrap you in. They roll you in. They hook, line, and sinker. Wind you in. I can't even think of the right word for it because I'm so sleep deprived against Stop Big Yawn. Either I'm a spill milk kind of candidate in case of emergency, or I'm nobody. And it's time for me to pack this up and go home. I can't really do that because I'm already home. I'm already home, so I can't pack up and go home. But you know what I mean. Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and give a take that some people may not agree with, and that's okay because some people just aren't ready to hear what is necessary and what needs to be said. And it may surprise some people, but I'm going to come on the side of, as Allison Morrow has framed it, Big Yawn. Now, Allison is a grown woman, and she knew exactly what she was getting into. In fact, I have it on good authority that she was well aware of the reality of Big Yawn up to 9 months before this contract ever came into existence. So there is no way that she could argue that this was a surprise. Now, in about 30 days, I'm going to come out with the exact opposite of this take. And I am going to claim to have always held this position. But right now, I think it's very important that we generate the kind of reaction that's going to draw attention away from what's going on with her situation and bring it back over to where it belongs, which is right here on the T.OOL show.
Wait a minute. What? I just realized corporate media may be trying to silence me as well. How do I know? Because in my contract, they require me, Stanley Roberts, to grow an additional 1.5 feet before I can get the $175 million. So Allison, I completely understand.
This contract doesn't even end after a period of like 18 years. In fact, that is when they start hitting you for things that weren't even in the original contract. Things like you paying for college tuition, while they sit there and say things like, oh my God, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. They basically own everything you do. Your money is actually their money, and they're basically capitalizing off of your labor. Meanwhile, you're the one doing all the hard work. You're the one doing the cooking and the cleaning while they sit there laughing it up, having a grand old time. The Big Yawn is a big con, and there are younger, unsuspecting, maybe more naive people out there that maybe they'll sign one of these contracts not knowing what they're getting themselves into. So it's our job to expose the Big Yawn so that this doesn't happen again.
As many of you, I'm sure, know, Allison Morrow, the talent, has started a movement, Big Yawn, Stop the Big Yawn. People were speculating, hey, who is this with? Was it Epic Times? Was this Turning Point? Was this Fox News? Hunley and the Behavior Panel? LawTube? I mean, there's a lot of speculating going on there. Like, who wrote this contract? It was pretty obvious as far as, you know, who it was for and about. Got you covered there, buddy. It was us. And I'm representing my client. You'll have to excuse him. He doesn't feel up to talking today because he just had his mustache trimmed and waxed. I'm just shocked. I'm appalled. I'm completely blindsided and offended. I think the biggest thing is we're offended, but we're also disappointed because non-binding term sheet. All right, none of this is binding. Not to be confused with the USMC. Okay, now for those of you that don't know what that means, okay, it doesn't mean Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. It doesn't mean United States Marine Corps. We used to say this all the time. It means you signed the contract. Because I'm intentionally and deliberately trying to be deceptive, I've edited this for brevity. If you'd like to see the video and the breakdown of this non-binding term sheet in its entirety, go ahead and go on over to www.alisonmoral.locals.com. Again, that's www.alisonmoral.locals.com. Full 18 minutes, really kind of got preemptive on there. We were hoping that we would have owned all that by now. Getting into Exhibit A, that's where you see the most damning evidence here. This right here, that's where it's at. It's in Exhibit A. As we move into it, we dig a little further, right, and we start talking about the responsibilities. It offends me that you would consider the fact that even if you don't provide a service, that somehow I still pay you even though you didn't do anything. Like, you must have damn lost your mind or something like that. Like, I don't know. In a capitalist society, that's how this works, right? Again, we love her. She's great. She's so fresh. She's so face. But you are going to be required to do some simple things, such as being an exclusive diaper changer, exclusive provider of milk. There's a lot of equipment I have. I don't have that equipment. Weird, like, sleep-deprived phone calls from the producer, the senior producer, and she's crying and carrying on and talking about, where's the money? Where's the money? A couple times she called me Lebowski. I don't even know what that's in reference to or where that's from. She's just wanting to know, where's the money, Lebowski? Give me them, show us the money, Lebowski. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I think you have the wrong number or something like that. And in your email list, I mean, I don't, judging by the way you communicate and some of the technical stuff I've had to do, I don't even know if you even know how to get to the email list. So I don't know how much that's worth either. We also agreed to 200 bottles of wine per week because that's, I mean, she's a healthy drinker, that one. That's fine. And 16 bags of coffee per day. But not all of us can have sponsors from, Argentinian wine, www.alisonwinepromo.com or Twin Engine Coffees supporting our caffeine addiction like it's fentanyl or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I may have to try this coffee and see what it can actually do for you. Like, not all of us can, like, this beer that I have right here, this guy right here, I had to pay for this out of my hard-earned cash out of my pocket. Her producer even started throwing out things like, well, what about the social media and stuff? Yeah, we're going to own all the social media, with the exception of the stuff that, that's being controlled by the FBI and the CIA and NSA. Or then the question about merch, like, hey, look, here's the thing with the merchandise. The merchandise, that's going to be a separate thing based on a percentage. And really, who's going to buy blue frame glasses anyways? I mean, whatever. Hey, I've been all over the world, man. I've fallen out of airplanes. I've dove to some of the deepest depths. I've carried 1.5 to 2 times my body weight. I've been to every other kind of specialty training and school that you can think of. And I've been a part of big teams, and I've been a part of small teams. And you know what? It does come down to the person to the left and right. And you know what? I am nobody special. I get it. Like, you're a big deal. Okay, you've been there, done that. You produced for Fox and Friends and Fox News. You met people like Ozzy Osbourne. And even after you left Fox News and got your master's in divinity and in Boston University, and you worked at different, stations. I mean, cool. Lester Holt, zippity-doo-dah. Like, he puts his pants on the same way I do every day, okay? One leg at a damn time. All right. And the fact of the matter is like, get it. You're a big deal. And you've been recognized for it. That's why we threw the exorbitant amount of money at you that we did. But hey, don't forget where it started. Don't forget where you came from. Despite being deeply offended by the implications and some of the comments and everything that's flying back and forth and the videos that are being made, and now everybody else is throwing their hat in the mix, and really, quite frankly, they're just a bunch of hookers trying to capitalize off this. But with all that being said, we still think there's room for reconciliation. So we could come back to the table, have a little bit more discretion next time, and just see where we go from here.
This entire problem that we're having with Allison right now and her contract and her worries. When I first heard it, I thought maybe it was a joke, but now I actually have a tummy ache, just like the babies that she's talking about. We were friends, and now she's saying that I'm shilling for Big Baby. Me and the friends, the people we work with, we're shilling for Big Baby? What? We have the same contract as you, Allison. Have you forgotten that? 18 years with a 4-year option. Yeah, that's how it works. Now you're mad because your baby's coming up with some special requests, things that kids want, like they want to eat. I know, crazy, but you know what? Sometimes kids got to eat. I know you don't want to feed them. I don't want to feed mine. I know sometimes you lock them in the basement sometimes for days because you don't feel like feeding them because you got stuff to do. You want to hang out with your friends. Then the neighbors call, CPS comes by, takes your kids, and you go into court, and you're fighting thousands of dollars later, months later, embarrassing media hits. I mean, could happen. That never happened for me, but could happen. And you're saying that what they're asking for is infantile. Well, they're infants. What did you expect? And now what Allison's doing is she's smearing us all just like poopy on the wall. The point is, this is all about her and her babysitting. That's what it's about. So she's got a baby who has some needs here or there. What are you going to do? It's like baby talk, because it's a baby. And just like that baby's diaper she talks about, just like you do, Allison, you talk about that diaper, you're full of it.
And I guess since we have to talk about it because absolutely everybody's talking about it, we might as well address a little bit of the controversy going on regarding our friend Allison Morrow and her struggle against Big Yawn. Now, I have long been a supporter of anyone who wants to strike out on their own. And Allison, of course, has been making some very good points. Some people have been suckered into 25, 30, 35 years. There are some people who have never gotten out from underneath of these contracts and will be buried while still taken care of and in service to Big Yawn. Allison is very brave for speaking out about this, and I do I'm going to make sure that we all go to patriotamerican.com, enter promo code Allison Morrow for 10% off of your monthly survival kits.
I didn't want to do this.
Hello?
Hi, I'm calling for Jackery Snoring.
Who's calling?
This is Allison.
Oh, hi, Allison. How you doing?
I'm good. I just was wondering if Jackery Snoring, my best friend, is there.
He can't talk right now. Is there something I can help you with?
Well, I'm his best friend. Why can't he talk?
He literally can't talk. He's 4 months old.
I don't see age with him. What can I say? Okay, well, could you tell him that I am not recording this call? Under no circumstance would I ever record a call with my best friend, and I definitely wouldn't upload it to YouTube.
Why would you even say that?
Just a friendly call because I want to know how his Christmas was. How are his kids?
I thought we already established. He's 4 months old.
That age thing again, gosh, you guys are real sticklers about that because all you care about are numbers. I wanted to talk about this contract. Thanks for bringing it up because the contract, frankly, makes me a slave and I cannot unsee it.
First of all, it's not a contract. It's a non-binding agreement. I mean, really, it's not even that. It's a non-binding term sheet.
I don't have to sign it, you're right, because I am extremely popular and I have a huge following. already. My real issue is everybody else who faces a contract like this. I mean, they are essentially slaves.
There is a big distinction between being contracted and being a slave. I mean,
well, the contract says he owns my social life
for the 18-year term, and then once that's over, then you can have it back.
And it also says that you own all the content I produce too.
Well, if by content you mean milk, then yes. Do you really want that back?
Milk?
Have you ever seen? You've seen what it looks like after it's processed, right?
All Jackery Snoring sees is business. I see a family. I see a movement. I see a country.
Honestly, all I see is a spoiled brat.
Well, I just see a big baby.
That's because my client is a baby.
Okay, look, I have an amazing relationship with everyone. Steve from Slow News Day, Felix Montano, the hottest guy on the planet, and he's super smart. Even producer Lily, who cuts me off almost every week and tells me to wrap early. I love them all. We can all go out and we can have a drink. But I have to say, this is some First off, just say what you mean. You are just mad at Morrow Media because they wouldn't give you the money that you wanted. And why are you lying? You were never offered a contract. This is a offer sheet. Learn the difference, okay? This is nothing more than a negotiation platform to start. You're just an actress that didn't get the money that she wanted, so you finally just started your own thing with the big yawn. Burning your own bridges has what has brought you to this, okay? You got mad at Fox News when you left there. You got mad at King 5 when you left there. And the only place you had to go was Morrow Media. And because they didn't offer you the money that you wanted, you decided to leak a recorded conversation with someone you considered a friend? I don't like that. And look, I'm not defending Morrow Media, okay? I work for them, but their business practices, who they hire, who they fire, they do that on their own. I just walked in one day and boom, there's this new producer named Jack. And I'm like, who the is this guy crying and drooling all over the place in his onesie? But I don't want to babysit that guy either. This isn't the big yawn. This is the big pawn because you played yourself.
So once again, it's down to me to explain to everybody else what's really going on between Allison and Big Yawn. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who have come out with a lot of different opinions about the controversy, the contracts. What everyone seems to forget is that the only reason that any of you know anything at all whatsoever is because of me. I've been the one that's been telling you not only is that the fraud that is Allison, but the reality behind the situation between her and Big Yawn, and that is Big Yawn is in fact going to be under her thumb for the next 18 to 25 years, maybe a little bit longer. She is going to be controlling the wardrobes. She is going to be controlling what happens on every major holiday. She is going to be controlling the overriding belief system that Big Yawn presents for decades. And no one else is telling you this except for me. And I'm the only one who's always told you everything. Download my app.
So stop Big Yawn, and I'm going to make myself available for interviews also. I rarely do interviews, but this time it's important enough to me. I'm going to do interviews, and if you've written me, like, you know, there was this video that came out with Steven Crowder saying he'd make himself available for interviews, and I wrote him and he didn't write me back. So if you have the balls, like he said, if you have the balls to talk about this and you want me to come on your show, I will make myself available. And I just, you know, if Steven sees this video by any chance, I did write you. So on the same line, write me back.